Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor Ellis and this is Secondhand Librarian, where I just talk about bookish things whenever I have time. So I know it's been like a long time since I uploaded a new video, but summer's just been kind of insane for me with just like all the events I have going on and then just like personal life, trying to go down and see family that live in DC and stuff like that. So I'm back with this video and I wanted to do a 1 year in business video. So my bookstore anniversary was, I want to say July. So it's been like a few months since then, but I feel like I'm still kind of in that headspace of just like finally closing out my first year of business, and I wrote down some questions and some of my like thoughts about it. So I figure this will be like a nice little chatty video about bookstore ownership. But my next video, I absolutely want to do my like summer reading wrap up and maybe even like a fall preview. I read so many books this summer and I actually got down a huge rabbit hole of Hermione fanfic. For people that don't know, Hermione is Draco and Hermione Granger. I feel like I took the Pottermore quiz and got sorted into Slytherin, and then that just became my personality. Like, I'm into Daddy Draco, I'm into Hermione being a Slytherin, I'm into Death Eater culture, whatever that means. I'm here for it. So I'm probably going to do a video and talk about all my favorite fanfics because I've been reading so much. It's a problem. But that'll be the next video. This one is about my bookstore, the 1 year mark. So I'm just going to get right into it. Sorry if I'm also like looking off screen. My friends are actively texting me about doing things tonight, which will be fun. Okay, so question. What was it like for the first year of business? So I have kind of talked about this a little bit in a previous video about how starting secondhand wasn't really something that was super, I don't want to say thought out, but that's essentially what it was. It wasn't something that I feel like I sat down and did like a business plan and step by step. And in hindsight, that could be why I've had some like struggles, I guess. But I am a very impulsive person to the core. If I think I want to do something, I just do it. Consequences be damned. And so the first year was great. It was great. I feel like my hesitation about answering that question with just like a huge positive is that I learned a lot about myself this first year being in business. My business grew faster than I think I even anticipated. And so with growth, when you don't have systems in place, it can be very overwhelming very quickly. And so I think that my first year was a great experience. Like I said, I've learned a lot about myself, and I'm probably going to go into that a little bit more with some of the other questions that I have for myself. But yeah, the first year was an experience. I learned so much about the type of person I am and what I can and can't handle, where my limits are, things like that. But I think just like with the unprecedented growth that my bookstore had, I just was flying by the seat of my pants with so many things. I still feel like I'm just kind of winging it, which probably isn't the best. Like, these videos aren't gonna be like, boss babe, I wake up at 4 a.m. and do my protein shakes and go to the gym and then I fire off all my emails by 6 a.m. Like, absolutely not. I'm still just like not sure what I'm doing, and I don't think I'm really gonna get the hang of it for a few years, just because I think that the person that I am, I learn by experience. So that's where I am. But first year was fun, super cool, learned a lot. Next question. So pros and cons. I'll start with the pros. So I met so many cool people doing Secondhand Librarian. I am new to the city that I live in, Rochester, New York. New-ish. I think I've been here maybe 2-3 years at this point. But I mean, I like had friends and things like that, but I just wasn't really involved in the community. And this just made it so that I'm involved in a way that I never expected myself to be involved. I've made so many cool friends. Like, I want to say probably a good portion of the friends that I have now are people that I met through Secondhand, which is just crazy to me. But they're just people that like have come to events or like follow me on Instagram and like comment on my posts, and then we just like start talking, and then we formulate actual friendships. So, someone who I like look at as like a big sister, like I met her by doing Secondhand. So it really put me out of my comfort zone, and the fact that I was meeting people that if I were just kind of not doing the bookstore, I don't think I ever would have met, because I would have never left my house. So that's definitely a huge pro. I love it. I got closer to my public library. So I'm a huge librarian person. When people see my name, they assume a librarian. I'm not, although there is a story coming up with that soon. But I've been working closely with like one of my favorite libraries in the city, and it's just been so cool. Like, I love meeting the librarians. I love being involved in that like world. I think it's awesome, and it's something that I always advocate for. Like, even though I own a bookstore, I'm always like, go out to your local library. Like, it is a national treasure. It is the last place that you can do something absolutely free. The amount of times that I've gone to my library the past weeks and just like sat there and read books and like worked on my laptop and just felt no pressure to like talk to someone or buy something. Like, oh God, it's the best place on earth. So I really, really love that I got to kind of meet librarians and libraries in the city and work with them on events. I think that is super cool. And then I just had so many great opportunities. I have hosted a lot of events in this past year. So I'm trying to think. I did a pop-up at the Rochester Brainery with my best friend, who owns like a cute little vintage clothing store. And then I did a Books and Booze event, which is just like an adult scholastic book fair. I've hosted 2 writing retreats. I've popped up at the Lucky Flea, which is like a huge vintage market in Rochester. I did that 3 times over the summer. I've done a pop-up at Luna, which is the co-op studio that I'm a part of. I do speaking events at the local library. We just had one last night where I talked about fall previews, so books that I'm excited for. And I got paid for that. I got paid to talk about books, which is still something that I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, so I really have had so many opportunities, and it's wonderful, like just being able to do fun things with books. I think that's pretty much why I started what I did, because reading is just like, it's the best, y'all. It's what keeps me alive, truly. It's what keeps me pushing through the drudgery of reality. Like, I wake up and I'm like, whoa, we overturned Roe versus Wade. Like, abortion's illegal, and the climate is fucked up, and there's just racism and homophobia. And then I just sit down and I read a beautiful book about like hot fae, like vampires, and I'm just like, okay, like we'll be fine as long as I have this content coming my way constantly. So yeah, I think the pros have been awesome. Allowing me to meet people, allowing me to do cool shit when it comes to reading. That's all I could ask for. Cons, business aspect, I am the worst business owner in the world. And I say that and people laugh, and I'm not kidding. I have no concept of organization. I have no concept of time management, and it sounds so bad because it is, because I own a business. And for some reason I feel like I foolishly was just like, I'll get the hang of it. I haven't gotten the hang of it. Yeah, the business aspect is not fun for me. It's very hard for me to just put my brain to something and work through it. I'm definitely like the big picture girl. I can envision the bookstore. I can envision the end goal and, you know, even like the beginning stage, but I can't envision all the little like details that it takes to get there. And the little details are very important because they build up to create that bigger picture. So I think right now I'm still just kind of figuring out how to not be the worst business owner in the world, and like little things like making sure that I have my supplies stocked, making sure that the inventory that's on my website is actually books that I have in my possession. Like, when I say I learned a lot about myself, I am a disaster. But it's okay. Everyone still loves me that I care about, so that's all that matters. Another con, constantly being on. Now, this is something that is draining for me. When I say constantly being on, I mean that my city is relatively small. The entrepreneurial small business community is even smaller. And so people know each other, everyone knows each other. Because of how big my business got so quickly, and I don't even want to say like big as far as like monetary, you know, gains, but just like who I am. So I go out places and people recognize me, or I'll sell something off of Facebook Marketplace and someone will come and like get my Venmo and they'll be like, oh my God, I follow you on Instagram. And to someone else, I think that would be amazing. My parents came up to do one of the fleas with me. They laughed because this girl literally, like, she was in line. She's very cute. I actually really like her a lot. But she was like, I feel like I'm meeting like my favorite like band. Like, I'm in line. And my parents were like, you are like a little celebrity. And that sounds so cringe to me. It sounds cringe and it makes me feel so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I am not, I guess it's just weird for me. It's weird because I think I am just this awkward human who just talks about books. And not even good books. I talk about face smut. So when people are excited to meet me or they notice me out in public when I'm just in leggings and a t-shirt and I look terrible and I'm just at Wegmans to get like a pint of Ben and Jerry's so that I can binge read Dramini fanfic, like, it makes me feel very stressed. So I think that just having people know who you are and having to kind of maintain a sort of semi-professional exterior when you're out, because you just never know who you're going to run into. I liked being invisible. I liked not having people know who I was, kind of being in the background. So yeah, I'd say that's a con. I know. And then last thing, just learning my flaws the hard way. I kind of talked about this actually with one of the pros. But I'm a disorganized person. I'm very introverted. I get very overwhelmed easily. And I think that this bookstore just really pushed those things out of me to show me that, like, they are things that are kind of flaws and they're things that I think I'd want to work on. You know, I don't want to be this like scatterbrained person who's just flying through life by the seat of her pants, because that's literally what I am doing right now. So yeah, there's grace that comes with it, recognizing that I am human, that I'm not going to be some crazy type A person, because that's never been who I was. I'm absolutely the type of person that like would just turn in an essay the day that it was due after not researching anything and just being like, all right, we've done all that we could. Like, so it's not a surprise to me that I'm this way, but it's not something that I want to continue, because I just don't think it's good for me. So, okay, next question. And I'm going to try to hurry this up because it's already at the 15-minute mark. Advice for people wanting to do the same. So I do get messages from people asking me if they can like chat with me, have a conversation about any advice I have for them if they were to do what I am doing. My advice is very short and sweet. If you're going to do something like this, it is relatively easy. It's easy to go out and get books. It's easy to create an Instagram. It's easy to create a website. It's easy to do all of these things. The most important thing, and the reason why I feel like I got pushed further than where I expected, was the personality behind it. I truly believe people don't support the Secondhand Librarian because of the product necessarily. I mean, obviously, I have to have good books or else they're not going to want to buy anything. But I think that they're more wanting to support because of who I am. Like my online, presence. My online presence, I feel like, has kind of been a lot more personable. It doesn't feel like a business. It feels like a Bookstagrammer with a store, if that makes sense. So I just think that the online presence is very important, and to please have systems in place. Don't be like me. That's my advice. Don't be like me. And lastly, future of Secondhand Librarian. So this is a good question because I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So I did mention how people assume I'm a librarian because of my name and how I'm not. However, I got my my bachelor's degree in English literature because of course I did. And I have been heavily considering getting my master's in library sciences. There is a program at UB and it's completely online, which is wonderful. Buffalo's maybe like an hour away from me. I'm not driving there, not a fan of the city. However, I could do it all online, and because of like the secondhand and things that I've done, I've been around a lot of librarians who are all like, you should absolutely pursue this if that's something that you want. And it is something that I've wanted. So that's not to say that I'm not going to continue a secondhand librarian at all. It's just to say that there's going to be another little pocket of something that I'm doing. And with that, I also am trying to see if I can work at my local library, just like a few hours a month, a week, so that I can kind of get some of that experience and see how it's really like, which is something I absolutely need to do. I could glamorize anything. So I just want to make sure that it's like something that I can foresee myself actually doing as well. So, yeah, I think I'm in the process of applying to get my master's in library sciences. So that'll be super, super cool. So yeah, I think that I will just be taking some time to, after the holiday season, because that's my busiest, taking some time to actually sit down and get systems into place, so that I can make sure that when I am busy with school, that my business can continue to stay afloat and I don't have to constantly worry and constantly stress out and run around like a chicken with their head cut off to get things done. So yeah. But that is all for this video. I'm sorry that it's so long. I'm sure no one's going to see the end of this. That is completely fine. I can only expect maybe Sarah watching all of this, because she loves me and I love her, but that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Next video is going to be bookish stuff. All of my Dramini fanfic and fall preview with like all the books I've read this summer. I am halfway through my goal for Goodreads reading challenge. I set it at 100 and I think I'm at like 57 right now, so we'll see if I get there. But that's it. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Bye.